Hi, Eric Harless, Head Backup Nerd with Enable with a Cove Data Protection 24.10 release update. In this release, we're very excited to announce our new Standby Image Rollback capability, which is now generally available. This new capability allows you to quickly and easily roll back to an earlier version of Standby Image, assuming the latest one is corrupted or compromised. In addition, this release includes our new M365 Restore to Alternate User capability, improved Delta Restore mechanism for Standby Image to Azure, and several reliability updates and fixes. I want to first start by taking you into Standby Image so you can see a quick demonstration of the rollback capabilities. Here we have our Cove Data Protection dashboard, and I have selected on the left-hand side of my navigation bar Standby Image. You can see I've got numerous devices here with different Standby Image recovery plans, either into Azure, into Hyper-V, or in VMware, and we have filtered down on this particular 2016 SZX device. You can see over here on the right-hand side, I have a Hyper-V Standby Image verification, which happened a little bit earlier today, October the 21st at 1:55 a.m. This is going to be our device that we want to roll back to an earlier point in time. To trigger that now, I would come in and I would select the device from my device list by right-clicking it, and you'll see you're presented with a rollback option here at the top. Once I click rollback, it is going to load the backup sessions and session times where successful backups were completed. Now, depending on the retention frequency and the backup schedule that you have in place here, it could take a little bit longer to load the session list than on other devices where you may be only backing up once a day. You can see here prior sessions over the 20th, the 19th, 18th, and so on. We're going to go back and select the 18th as my date, and we will look at the available sessions, and I'll grab something a little bit earlier in the day or earlier in the morning here, I guess, 12:36 a.m. And we'll hit next, and we'll hit confirm. That is going to pause future continuous restores for this particular device and roll it back to that earlier point in time. It will attempt to then boot and screenshot that recovered device. The next feature I want to talk about is that Microsoft 365 Restore to an alternate user. We've added this ability so you can restore your M365 data to an alternate licensed user in the same domain. This update streamlines employee offboarding, role changes, and internal transfers. It can improve accounts that are compromised and need to be recovered. It could ease legal investigations or compliance audits without disrupting your production users. Now, if for any reason you decide you don't want to have this functionality available to you inside of M365, it can be turned off. Please open up a support ticket, and you can request to have Restore to Alternate User or Alternate Licensed User disabled for your various Cove tenants. So quickly, let me get into that functionality and do a quick demonstration for you as well. Here we are back in the Cove dashboard, and you can see that I am filtered down into just my M365 domains. I'm going to select my domain really quickly here and start to process a restore. I am logged in as a super user, and I do have global admin and security officer capabilities. So we're going to appear to the right, restore exchange. I do need to connect to authenticate my ability to restore. We'll give that just a quick second. And we are now connected. So I've got a list of my users here. These include licensed users, shared mailboxes, previously deleted mailboxes that are still available in retention. I'm going to come down here and select Grady. Grady is the user that I want to restore, and I'm going to be restoring Grady's mailbox to his manager's active licensed mailbox because of some unexpected deletions that may have occurred late last week. And the manager is wanting to investigate those. So we're going to go in and hit next. For my drop down here, I'm going to choose my earlier point in time being the 18th. The sessions, we're going to use the 11:29 session. Actually, no, I want to go a little bit earlier in the day. I want to go into this 10 a.m. session. That will capture all the mail that existed as of the 10:14 a.m. backup. And we want to restore the draft, deleted, and inbox from Grady. Next. Here we can choose to restore them back into Grady's active mailbox, just like you would with any normal restore, and it is labeled as same account. But I can also remove Grady as the target and select an alternate user from my drop-down here in order to put it into, say, in this case, the manager's mailbox. So we're going to go to Megan's mailbox here, and I can put this into an auto-generated folder, or I can choose a custom folder that I'm going to restore that into. In this case, I am going to use the auto-generated one, which is going to apply this restored 21-10-2024 date-stamped folder for recovery. Quick preview here or summary of what's being restored. Read through this again, make sure you are restoring the right location. You will notice we've added a quick banner or pill here, which does say alternate account to identify that we are not restoring back to the original user's mailbox. In addition, this restore operation is going to be flagged and logged in the audit as being restored to an alternate user. So we'll hit finish here. And this is going to take me back to my Cove Data Protection dashboard. I can go back into this particular tenant, come into backup and restore jobs, and you'll see this job once it is started, queuing for the restore process. And then if we go into my history, we can see my various restores that have been triggered. If I go into my audit, I can see here that I did restore to an alternate account. Other improvements that we've made inside of Cove Data Protection do include some enhancements to our new retention policies functionality. Retention policies have been introduced to replace the products on the left-hand dashboard, and it allows you to define intradaily, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly retentions as part of a retention policy. We resolved an issue where newly created devices were not grabbing the 30-day retention policy as part of unattended installation. That has now been corrected. So any new deployments using our unattended installation process should grab that 30-day or that default retention policy. Obviously, you can rename that. We did also fix or update a link in the Learn More section of retention policies so that it goes to the correct product documentation, showing off retention policies as opposed to products. Just a quick look at that inside of the UI. Here we are in the retention policy section on the left-hand navigation. I've selected a 30-day, 6-month, 3-year retention policy that is here. You can see the definition in the center screen here. My link at the top, we've introduced enhanced retention policies that allow you to set and manage retention centrally, removing the need to set up archiving schedules in the backup manager. And this Learn More is now an updated link that takes you to documentation for retention policies. The 30-day retention policy that is the default over here is going to have a unique identifier for it. And when you come back into the Cove dashboard and you go into add a new device, if you are selecting a retention policy from the dropdown, here I've got my 30-day device, 30-day default retention policy for the device. And when I come in and hit the next, you'll see that that retention policy is now the last component in the automated installation string. This string has been updated with an additional set of pound signs on the end and a new unique identifier to specify that retention policy. So a combination of partner GUID, profile, and retention policy now as part of that deployment string. Rest assured, though, that any legacy scripts or automation that you have that utilize the prior deployment structure will continue to work, but those will be updated shortly to take advantage of new deployment features. Some additional improvements and fixes inside of the 24.10 release. We improved the Delta restore mechanism for our Standby Image to Azure technology. This change was aimed at easing technician workloads by reducing the frequency of Delta restore failures and the time-consuming full restore required following a Delta restore failure. To eliminate possible blue screen of death issues during bare metal restores, we did update the boot image for BMR to Windows 11 PE. We also fixed an issue where the OS selection screenshot was incorrectly classified as a failed boot. We've resolved some error messages, one being the number of virtual devices exceeded the maximum for a given controller. We've improved the logic for Delta Restore after a VM is booted, ensuring that faster and more reliable restore speeds following that boot event. Finally, search by customer ID was added to the customer management section inside of the backup.management console. A quick look at that. If we go into my console again and go into customers now, I can search for a particular customer tenant ID. We'll drop this in over here on the left, and you can see an option here, search by customer ID, and we'll search for that. And that found my SE demo tenant. This can be very useful if you are working with our APIs or queries, or working with a export that contains the tenant ID as opposed to the case-sensitive customer name. I am also announcing the end of life for a couple key or a couple historic components of Cove Data Protection. In this release, we are announcing the planned end of life for our native CMC, native cloud management console. That is a thick application that users probably in the 2012 through 2016 era would have accessed. We have also announcing end of life or planned end of life for our FreeBSD storage node capability. So the native cloud management console, or native CMC, will reach its end of life on December 1st, 2024. We do strongly recommend transitioning to the backup.management console, as you've seen me show today, as soon as possible, because as of December the 1st, 2024, you will no longer be able to access or log into the native CMC application. Effective March the 1st, 2025, the FreeBSD OS will no longer be supported by our storage node software. This is a piece of software that are utilized by our software-only customers. If you are not a software-only customer who is hosting his own storage nodes, then you've got nothing to worry about from this FreeBSD OS end of support. So guys, that's all I have today for you with 24.10. Look for those updates and downloads to be available for you very, very shortly in the backup.management console, and for the auto update of 24.10 backup clients to be pushed out across your devices. Thanks, and see you next month.